We're leaving. We're officially leaving.
This seems like such a silly thing to do literally hours before we hit the road, but I want this thing to be squeaky clean for the maiden voyage. I'm a little nervous because it is a shakedown, so
it's gonna go
but honestly we've prepped so much that I don't think anything major could go wrong.
That was an interesting little stop.
Yep.
We just arrived to Cherokee. I want to go see the leaves. I want to go see the leaves. I want to go see the leaves.
I look like I'm struggling, but this is going way faster than the fifth wheel ever did. Going smaller has its perks, for sure. I'll be able to detail this thing by myself. I'm talking about detail in an afternoon. Hi, T-Rock. Getting ready to load up the scooter. That's what I love. Once you get it onto the moto tote itself, the front wheel chock takes over and I can literally prop it up in an upright position and then let go of it and continue about my business. I am switching up the straps. A lot of people didn't like the way I had it strapped down at the handle grips on the last video. I didn't really like that either. They were the soft loop. They were designed to attach to the grips and not mess up the grips. The problem was whenever you actually start ratcheting the front end down, it would roll forward on the throttle, and I'm not into that. So there's a company called Canyon Dancer, and the dude that actually came and bought the Goldwing from us had a set of these, and I was super impressed. And then another buddy of mine from Hitchton, Holland, actually told me that he had a set of these and he loved them. So switching to the Canyon Dancer 2s, they actually pop on around the grips and don't really put any pressure down on the throttle or the grip itself. And then another thing that's cool is it distributes the weight across the entire bar instead of on just one side or the other, which is also very nice. You just pop it on like that, and then you pull both sides of the strap to make it taut inside, and then you put your ratchet straps through the loops on the sides. Now I'm gonna ratchet it down a little farther. I like to snug up
Both sides.
Yeah, both sides, and then start actually putting pressure on the forks. For the rear, I'm just gonna go with a simple, what they call wheel tie. And it's just a tension strap that you put around the wheel and then pull it tight, and that'll keep the back wheel from hopping. And that's it. This is totally secure. The only thing extra I want to add as far as theft protection is going to be like a U or a D style lock that'll go through one of the rims and actually bolt it to the moto tote frame itself. But we got to wait on Amazon to get that to us.
We're leaving. We're officially leaving. We're
on, like, literally driving now.
Whew, it's exciting. We slept in the RV for 3 nights to kind of acclimate our cats. 3 nights.
3 nights we slept?
3 nights. Leaving has been so tough. Every single time we were like, okay, today we're gonna leave. We would do a laundry list of things that we needed to do before we left, and then we didn't leave. But it's finally happening. We're driving 7 hours today to get to Atlanta. We're gonna be staying mooch docking off of a friend's driveway. So we're in for the long haul for today. And our cats haven't quite adjusted to the driving yet. They're pretty comfortable when we're sleeping in here or we're hanging out with them, but the driving part they're not super comfortable with. So we're hoping that they'll get acclimated soon.
I'm a little nervous because it is a shakedown, so
it's gonna go just
but honestly
smooth.
we've prepped so much that I don't think anything major could go wrong. stopped to get gas in Gainesville, and a couple people were like out of their windows at us, and then come to find out, we got a flat tire.
That was an interesting little stop.
Yep.
An hour later, we found out it was actually the valve stem. It was not an issue with the tire, which is good because it buys us some more time to be able to get all 4 tires. They replaced the valve stem. They were really, really nice, and they even heated up our food for us so that we could actually have lunch. And so
I heated the food up. He just walked me through the shop to where
they let us use their microwave. Yeah. That was very nice. But this is a part of it. It's like highs and lows, right? We're like, woo, on our first trip.
As long as I'm with you, babe. As long as I'm with you.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's like highs and lows, right? So you go through, woo, we're on our first trip, and then
the tire goes flat.
Yep.
And then, well, this is the thing though. Actually, this is right back to the grind of moving days. Moving days always take longer than expected. Like,
yes,
Google Map it and then add about an hour for every 3 hours you plan on traveling.
Yep.
And that's a good rule of thumb.
So we're not sure if we're going to actually make it to Atlanta or not. It depends on how things continue to progress and how late it gets. We don't want to arrive too late to our friends. So we may just call it quits halfway through the night and visit them tomorrow.
Halfway through the night?
Or halfway through the drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's tolling. I forgot how tolling travel days are. This is why we don't normally do 7-hour drives in one day.
This is normally, no, this is why we do not do more than 3 to 4 hours a day.
Well.
But we've made choices and now we must carry on.
Carry on. It is a loud generator, which is exactly why we're going to be getting solar. We just don't have it installed yet. But that's okay. When we get back, we're going to be doing a full solar setup so that we don't have to use the generator when we're boondocking. We did not make it to Atlanta. We decided to stop halfway in Valdosta at a Harvest Host. Funny story, this was the first camping spot we ever stayed at when we were on our 5th wheel for the first time. So we're in the exact same spot on our first camping trip in the Class CRV. It's kind of just a small little world. Brings back memories. I'm making a really quick dinner. We're just throwing together a salad. We're gonna chill and watch some movies and rest because it was tiring. And I'm pretty sure our cat is traumatized for life. Some of the produce is a little bit interesting. It's frozen. So our fridge is definitely working well. Maybe a little too well, but that's ice. And our radishes were the same, and so was our lettuce. So we're slowly figuring out where to put things so they don't freeze, but it's nice and fresh.
Get over it. Yeah, me too.
So last night was interesting. It was a night of discoveries. You know what I mean? Like, the cats were all freaked out just like they were the first time, trying to get used to the new rig. We forgot to plug the shore power cord into the generator power spot, so I had to go outside and fix that, like after we had already set up. So learning the quirks of this particular rig, which is exactly what we did that first night back in the day with the Momentum.
Yes, and I'm sure we're going to continue to learn a bunch of quirks. And we slept just fine. We chilled, watched some movies, and we hit the road to Camping World today. And we had to pick up a few things that we knew we needed, but we didn't have a Camping World nearby. And now we're on our way to Atlanta, and we're going to get to hang out with our friends all afternoon, which is really exciting. We're going to do a nice dinner, play some games, drink some wine. But we got to beat Atlanta traffic. So we're going to start to hustle, because Atlanta traffic is
That's great.
The pits.
Yeah.
We just arrived at Cherokee, which is very exciting. The drive was beautiful, but we need gas. And so we were about to pull into our RV park, and we decided to just pull into the Shell that is right next to it. And I remember that we have the GetUpside app, which gives you cash back on diesel or fuel when you fill up. So I figured, I don't know if it's going to be a GetUpside gas station or not, but literally the gas station we pulled into was approved. So we're going to be getting 4 cents cash back for every gallon of diesel that we fill up with. And all we have to do is use a card that's saved in the app from prior histories, or you can upload a receipt for whatever card you use, and it'll automatically give you cash back. There is a bonus if you use our code, and we'll have that down for you below in the show more notes. If you don't have the app, I highly suggest getting it.
All right, enough about the GetUpside app. Let's fill this thing up and get to the campground so we can start making a fire before it's dark and freezing cold. And when I say freezing, I mean like 55 degrees, because we're from Florida. So, in true ECRV fashion, we are late getting to everything. So we had to call around a bunch of different campgrounds, sit in the Wendy's parking lot in Cherokee for like a half an hour and find some place that was still open, because it is the 1st of November in North Carolina and there's not a whole lot that's open for the season. A lot of places are closed for the winter. So we found a spot. It's right on the river. It's called Ella Campground. They were still open, but actually the office was technically closed, but they answered the phone anyway, thank the Lord. $35 full hookup. I'm sure that's their, off-season price. But 10 minutes from downtown Cherokee, so it'll be a nice scooter ride tomorrow.
We can go to the village. We're like 10 minutes from Smoky Mountain.
Now I'm gonna get the scooter off this thing because we're gonna be actually riding it around tomorrow.
Master Chef.
Well, if you don't know and you're trying to go gluten-free about Birch Benders, this is the best tasting gluten-free paleo pancake mix that I have ever had. They don't taste like cardboard. They taste like awesome buttermilk pancakes. And since it's fall, we decided to put a little pumpkin spice in there to make it even more fall-like in the RV. All right, let's see how this pumpkin spice turned out.
So tasty.
Tastes like leaf peeping season. After we scarf these, we're gonna head to, I cannot pronounce the name of this place because it's a Cherokee name, but we're gonna go visit the Cherokee Village here in Cherokee, North Carolina, and just see what life was like back in the day.
What you see her working with right now is commercial wool yarn and glass beads. Before we had the wool yarn, we'd been working with either the Indian hemp plant, which would have been any number of 7 plants, including mulberry and milkweed. We also would have been working with bison fur. Now, we never hunted the bison just for our fur. What we had actually done is wait till it's shedding its winter coat. Then we go out into the woods, pick it off of anything it may have brushed up against, any low-lying limbs, broken branches, stuff like that. Before we had the steel needle, we take the backbone from a deer hoof, crush it with a large stone, then take out one of the slivers and drill a hole into it. This would serve as our needle.
If you're making one of the regular pots and just want a shine on it instead of design, take a river rock. See what you're doing here, just going around smoothing it out. Depending on the size of your pot, it could take you 30 minutes or a couple hours to get that shine on there. Because we never use any paints, glazes, or potter's wheels on these. Everything was done by hand. You go back with a second fire with this one. You put the corn cubs in here, The fire would heat it up. You don't put them directly in it, you set them around it. The fire heats all these up, releases all the oils from these, and it coats the inside. We let it set out for about half a day to 2 days, depending on the size of the pot. And once that's done, we can use this to boil water and cook in, all just from the oils from the corn cob.
Now the second type of weapon you would have seen him using is not really our bow and arrows, because we never really used that in warfare. It was only if you had the means of being outnumbered. You was just, you know, you needed it, and it was one of the things we used. We never wanted to shoot somebody from a distance, bow and arrows, guns, because we thought it was just a cowardly way to fight with somebody, to hide and, you know, shoot and kill somebody. So our forms of fighting would have been with war clubs. This right here would have been your pre-contact style war club. All that is simply like a root burl, like a knot in a tree is what that would have been. They're going to take those, clean those out, and make them, you know, look up the best that they can. Like we mentioned up there back then, it didn't have to be pretty, it was just as long as it worked.
The village that we went to today, the Cherokee village that we went to, was awesome. I really, really enjoyed it. I felt like it was really informative, and you could tell that everyone that was there was of Cherokee descent, and they were very proud of that.
You could definitely tell that everybody wanted you to learn something, and in the way of dispelling stereotypes. And they were super open to any kind of questions, and I asked a bunch because I'm really into Native American culture.
Well, and Cherokee culture is very different from what we've learned about from other cultures or from other native tribes. So I learned a lot that I didn't even realize I had stereotypes or needed to dispel certain beliefs, but today was very informative. I definitely suggest going there. If you are coming to this area, it's worth a stop. It was $36 for the two of us to go. They had hourly tours. We arrived right when school was leaving on a field trip. So if you're coming during the week, that could be something that happens. They were very noisy. I'm glad they had just left.
2 busloads of kids.
Yeah, but we were there for about 2.5 hours, and it was well worth our time. We really, really enjoyed it. And then
we had a very cold scooter ride.
I'm literally still shivering. Like, so cold.
Through the Great Smokey Mountain National Park?
It is a national park. It's the most visited national park in all of the United States. We have both never really been to the actual national park. We've seen the Great Smokey Mountains, visiting other towns, but never actually gone there. It's totally free. Normally you have to pay an entrance fee to national parks. Not with the Smoky Mountains. Pretty cool. So this was really it for today because a cold front is coming through tomorrow and it's supposed to rain pretty much all day. We're probably going to call Cherokee quits. Tomorrow we might go to a museum. And then we're headed
into even higher elevations. We're going to Asheville. So the colder it gets, the farther north we seem to want to go, which is the opposite of everybody else.
Yeah, well, we love Asheville. So we'll see you in Asheville. So I'm making a really quick breakfast. I'm tired. Did we ever figure out how to say the name? Oak.
I can't even see the
Oak.
You can see the word.
Oak.
Oconaluftee.
I think that's it. Say it again.
Oconaluftee.
Oconaluftee. We don't know.